from all over the world tonight to join this. But such is life. Yeah, I feel very honored. Some of my best friends internationally. An international night. And my favorite people.
All over Europe. We've got somebody from the north here, north of England.
So we're
That's
missing the master musician. Is he ready?
Very nice.
Dave Atkins,
Yes.
the
What have I
master
done now?
himself. He comes
What have I
in
done now?
through a foyer. He's swishing his robes. His silk robes, gossamer. His entourage in the back. He didn't bring them in today.
Joking.
His female entourage, that is.
Where?
Don't
Where?
mind me. Don't mind me.
What's one of those? I haven't seen one of those for years.
Which one?
Female entourage.
Yes, in the future. So I don't think it's better to not have glasses, I think, right? I don't need glasses, right? Distinguish? No.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. I'll put those on. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're about ready to roll here. Sunset hour too. Powerful. All systems go, more or less. Let me know, Ben. Oh, okay, good. Okay.
I've got those sort of options as well.
Sorry? Yeah, please. Absolutely.
Just wave your magic wand, it'll appear.
Well, you can jump in too. Like I said, because I probably won't be thinking about you. I'll be thinking about me and what I'm saying, so to speak. I mean, because that's just how speaking is. But be spontaneous. Okay, let us begin. Okay, thank you for coming tonight. And we're in Totnes. This is the official opening of the Totnes stone. Something I've wanted to do for a really, really long time. It's been a vision. My name is Zenon. I'm the quintessential artist and alchemist. And we're doing a little seed thing. I wanted to thank all the people bothered to come tonight, our friends. I wanted to honor you, Del and Maria, for being my housemates, these wonderful housemates, which has meant a lot to me in this reintegration process of coming off the mountain from Mount Shasta in 50 years in America. And thank you, Sarah, for being behind camera, Ben for being, putting the website up, and what can I say, everybody. And Dave Atkins for doing some music, and he's going to be doing a last part of the evening. So this is officially called the Stone, or the Totnes Stone, and it basically is a venue for light and sound and language for bards, poets, dancers, theatre people, for people who want to create a ring of culture. And our new website is called One Grail Ring, because it involves the vision of synthesis and conscious co-creation, and what it takes to live in sovereignty with the one gold ring and to consciously co-create a positive, brighter future for ourselves and humanity. And so by these cultural events, we're building a field of unity and intention. I am Zenon, Z-E-N-O-N, and I'm more recently in Totnes. This is my home here. This has been my first home in England, and I feel very honored for just how we're beginning tonight at sunset on the 7th of June. So thank you, and I'm going to do a short invocation to the three rings, the Grail, the sword, and the stone, just to invoke the energetic principles of what I've been gathering for a really, really long time, 50 years behind the veil, as far as the secret teachings of how energy fields work from a higher dimensional frequency, and just to honor in ceremony the unseen beings that are around, including the beings, the elementals, and the creator beings. In Native American tradition, it's called the creator. So thank you again, and all of you, and I shall begin.
So ask the presence of Great Spirit and the ancestors of the land, and the great beings, the great sky beings, the hierarchies of light, all the great beings and brotherhoods of man, the sisterhoods of man, all the ones that are assisting Earth in her plight to release the old and bring forward the new for the coming generations. And according to this tradition, basically I encircle the gathering with one gold ring of unity, which is our protection device to seal the field, so that all that's created here is sealed from what I call the old duality. And then from that, I invoke the highest energetic spiral from the highest heavens, downwards through the top of the head, into the heart, changing its direction and coming through the feet into the central sun, forming one unified field of spiral, which is the vertical eye. It comes all the way down. Between the horizontal field, which is now protected in our gold and immutable ring, and this ray of blue-white diamond fire, this natural coalescence creates itself in the field, which is the equal-armed cross of the Celts and the Druids. And this is a secret, this is a testimony to all the great schools and the beings who really understood what we call the hidden or esoteric knowledge of how the field works, which is very impersonal. And according to Mount Shasta tradition, I bring in the host of ascended masters and the great orders of Melchizedek, and the great I Am Presence. And the I Am Presence is the great eye that brings all the way down as our vertical axis, and let us then remember that all is governed by the central flame of our heart, and that this field of unity exists in the very center and forms ultimately the diagram of a world. And so we just bring that into the field because we're individuated in our own sovereign golden rings, and in this we form a field of unity and intention to speak and dance a new creation story in harmony to the future of the earth. So thank you all great ones, all ancestors, and all our personal guides. Be with us tonight in giving us a witness to this ceremony of light and sound and language.
Thank you, Zenon, for that introduction. And Zenon asked me to do some theatre tonight because I've worked in theatre at Dartington for years. And what I thought I'd do is follow a little bit the tradition of Grotowski, who his idea about theatre was not to put masks on and portray a personality, but to take masks off and be more yourself. So I haven't got any costume, and I'm just using the clothes that I have at this moment. And I want to tell a story to bring awareness of death, because part of theatre, as I learnt with a Cuban master in Spain, is to talk about taboos. So sex, death, all those things, all sorts of things, but taboos is something that theatre practitioners need to explore. So through my process of working at Dartington, which was very physical we would go into different trance states, and through these trance states I would be possessed, if you like, by other beings. And one of them, for example, is a story of a witch who was being burnt at the cross. Not at the cross, sorry. Interesting mistake. Burnt at the stake. And I entered fully into a trance state, and I was this witch, and I could see the people there, some people condemning her, some people with very evil intentions, that created fear in me, because I knew that I was going to die, and I could feel the smoke choking me, I could feel the flames coming up at my feet, but as yet the heat hadn't hit me. I was still just in fear of all these people watching me. But also there were people crying, because there were people who loved me as well and were saying goodbye to me. So it was a whole mixture of emotions that I felt at this time. And probably, as most people think, one of their most profound fears is physical pain. And when the physical pain came to my feet, it was the most intense physical pain that you could possibly ever imagine. But it only lasted for a millisecond, a few seconds, the intensity of the pain, before, boom, it switched off. The body cut all sensations. My body, my spirit left my body, and it was floating above this pathetic scene, and I was watching myself being burnt as a witch. And I was looking also at all these people who previously I'd had fear, I was scared, but I was watching this pathetic scenario of humanity, and even the person with the most evil in their eyes, the most evil intention, who was smiling as I was dying, it all just seemed like a drop in the ocean, just another small step in the evolution of humanity. And if what it took was my death to actually make a step forward, then so be it. I had no pain, nothing, just looking down dispassionately. In the next moment, my spirit came back down into my body, and I had my last breath on earth, and I croaked like a death rattle. I collapsed and disappeared into a white light, a white, expansive, universal light, which was, I can only describe it as warm, like being in warm milk. I can't describe it. It was the most pure light that you can possibly imagine, and I was being absorbed into that. The next moment, I was collapsed on the floor, and then I came round, and I was me again, Derek, but I'd lived that experience fully in my body, in every cell of my body. It wasn't an imagination thing, it was, my body completely felt every second. So with that experience came the shedding of the fear of death, or one of the layers of the fear of death. And it gave me a great feeling of empowerment to think that probably the worst death that you can imagine, which I could imagine anyway, is being burnt at the stake. And actually, it wasn't so bad. Actually, it took me through into a new dimension. It made me understand death in a different way. And that brings me now to the story I want to tell you, which is a story, and in a way it's inspired a little bit by Zenon, because It's the story of in Tibet, and it's a true story. When the Chinese invaded Tibet,